What if I told you that the reason a woman ignores you has nothing to do with what you said, but everything to do with what you unknowingly conveyed? Female attraction is driven by invisible emotional triggers. Activate the wrong one, and she loses interest without even realizing why. The good news? This can be reversed. Today, I'm going to show you how this psychological mechanism works and what you can do to make her want to chase you. You know that situation where everything seems to be going well with a woman, the conversation flows, you connect, and suddenly she disappears. She stops responding, ignores you on social media as if you don't even exist. If this has ever happened to you, don't worry. You're not alone. Just the other day, a friend told me the exact same story. He met an amazing girl. They seemed to be on the same wavelength, exchanged several messages. And then, out of nowhere, total silence. He had no idea what happened. And that's when frustration kicks in. You start replaying every conversation, trying to figure out where you went wrong, if you said something bad, if you should have done something differently. And the worst part? The more you try to fix the situation, the more she pulls away. It's like any attempt to reconnect only makes things worse. And this is where most guys make their biggest mistake. Insisting. Thinking they need to prove something. Trying to impress with grand gestures, or bombarding her with messages. But what if I told you that most of the time, the problem isn't what you said, but how you positioned yourself? That's right. The way you behave sends signals that can spark interest or kill attraction before you even realize it. And the craziest part? Many women can't even explain why they lost interest. It happens on an emotional level. If you want to finally understand why some women ignore you while others are effortlessly attracted to you, stick with me until the end. I'll show you exactly what goes on in their minds and how you can turn things around. But first, there's a crucial detail that almost no one talks about. And it might be sabotaging you without you even realizing it. Have you noticed how some women seem interested, chat excitedly, seem engaged, and then suddenly change completely? They start responding coldly, take hours or days to reply, or just disappear. It feels like the connection vanished into thin air. But the truth is, this never happens for no reason. There's always a clear cause for a woman losing interest, and it usually has nothing to do with what you said. It's about the energy you projected. The problem is that most men don't notice this shift. They think everything was going great and have no idea why they were suddenly sidelined. And that's when they make the most common mistake: insisting. When a woman stops responding, many men assume the right move is to send another message, ask if everything's okay, or try to rekindle the conversation. But what actually happens? You only reinforce the idea that you're chasing her, and a man who values himself doesn't get desperate for the attention of someone who clearly isn't that interested. Now, don't think women do this out of malice or because they enjoy playing with your feelings. Often, they simply sense that something has shifted in the dynamic. At first, you seemed interesting, confident, someone who sparked curiosity. But at some point, without realizing it, you might have shown neediness, insecurity, or a craving for approval, and that kills attraction. It's instinctive. When a woman feels the dynamic has changed, her natural impulse is to pull away. But don't worry, this doesn't mean all is lost. There's a way to change this scenario, and it doesn't involve insisting or begging for attention. If you want to know how to make a woman genuinely want to talk to you again, stick with me, because I'm about to show you something that could completely transform the way you handle these situations. Have you ever been in a situation where everything seemed to be going great, and suddenly she started pulling away? Her messages became shorter, colder, until, out of nowhere, she stopped responding. Most guys assume this means she lost interest, met someone else, or was never really into them. But what if I told you that most of the time, the reason has nothing to do with that? The truth is, a woman never ignores a man for no reason. There's always a why. And most of the time, it has much more to do with how you behave than with what you say. What almost no one tells you is that her interest doesn't just vanish overnight. It fades gradually, sometimes without her even noticing. And do you know when that happens? When the relationship loses tension. Yes, tension. That sense of mystery, challenge, and excitement. If your conversations become predictable, if you're always available, always waiting for her, you stop being a priority in her mind. Women are driven by emotion, and what truly keeps her interested isn't your words. It's how she feels when she's around you. If she senses that she already has you in the palm of her hand without having to put in any effort to win you over, the excitement disappears. And when that happens, her interest vanishes too. Now, if you've ever wondered why some women become obsessed with certain guys while ignoring others, you already know it's not just luck. There's a pattern, a set of behaviors that make a woman value a man, or simply forget about him. And the best part, you can learn and apply this immediately. But first, you need to understand the most common mistakes that kill attraction without you even realizing it. Nothing makes a woman lose interest faster than sensing that a guy is desperate for attention. Many men, when they notice a woman has stopped responding, panic. They send another message, try to start another conversation, ask if everything's okay, and every time they do this, she pulls away even more. What seems like a simple effort to maintain contact actually sends a very clear message. I need your validation. And if there's one thing a woman never wants to feel about a man, it's that he needs her to feel good about himself. Another common mistake, being too predictable. Always responding immediately, always saying the same things, always sending messages with no emotion or personality. The problem isn't just that she didn't reply, it's that she felt nothing when she received your message. If the conversation is always dull, with no surprises, no mystery, no excitement, then her response will match that energy. Uninterested. But perhaps the worst mistake of all is the lack of challenge. Men who are always available, ready to reply within seconds, end up becoming too easy. And it may sound strange, but female desire needs a bit of uncertainty to stay alive. If she feels like she's already completely won you over, the game loses. It's thrill. Her interest doesn't work like an on-off switch. It needs to be fueled with emotion, tension, and a little bit of mystery. Now, the good news. These mistakes are completely avoidable. Small changes in how you communicate, the energy you project, and how you present yourself can completely transform the way women perceive you. And the best part? You don't have to pretend to be someone you're not. There's a simple, natural, and incredibly effective way to spark a woman's interest and keep that attraction alive. And right now, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. If there's one thing that separates the guys who spark interest from those who get ignored, it's how they react to a woman's behavior. And the first thing you need to understand is this: emotional mirroring. If she disappears, you disappear too. If she takes a long time to respond, so do you. This isn't playing games. It's balance. A man who values himself doesn't chase after someone who's showing little interest. When you put yourself on the same level, you show that your attention is valuable, and that alone completely changes the way she sees you. But it's not enough to just not seem desperate. You need to spark emotions in her. The worst thing you can do is send dull messages like, "Hey, how are you?" or "How was your day?" That doesn't create any excitement or curiosity. Instead, try something like, "You won't believe, what happened today?" Or, "I have something to tell you, but I think you're going to laugh at me." This triggers curiosity, making her want to know more. The way you start a conversation can be the difference between being ignored and getting an enthusiastic response. But here's a crucial detail. Your life can't revolve around her. Women are attracted to men who have an exciting life, full of energy and purpose. If you're always waiting for her response, always available, with nothing else happening, beyond this interaction, she will notice, and the effect is immediate. Her interest fades. The solution? Stay busy. Hit the gym, focus on work, build projects, dive into hobbies, spend time with friends. When you have an interesting routine, you radiate value without saying a word. And the craziest part? The busier you are, the more she'll feel your absence and want to be part of your life. Now, when you start applying these 3 steps, something interesting happens. Instead of wondering why she's not responding, your conversations start. Flowing naturally, she becomes more engaged, and she even reaches out to you, without you having to force anything. And the best part? This happens with no games, no anxiety, and no need to pretend to be someone else. But there's one important thing. How do you know if all of this is actually working? There are clear signs that show you're on the right track, and you need to learn how to recognize them. Now that you've adjusted your approach, sparked curiosity, and stopped acting like she's your only option, it's time to observe the results. The first major sign that you're doing things right is simple. She starts reaching out to you. It could be a random message, a subtle, "Hey, stranger," or even a comment about something you talked about before. This means she noticed your absence and wants to reestablish contact. And do you know what's even more interesting? This happens naturally, without you having to push for it. Besides taking the initiative, you'll notice another change. Her level of interest in conversations. If her replies used to be short, dull, and felt like polite efforts to not completely ignore you, now they become more enthusiastic. She starts using emojis, asking you questions, and even extending the conversation without rushing to end it. This shows that the dynamic has shifted. Before, you were chasing her, trying to impress. Now, she's the one engaging, wanting to keep the conversation alive. The game has changed. Now you're in control. But the ultimate sign that she truly sees you as an attractive man again is when she suggests or agrees to meet up more easily. It could be as direct as, "When are we going to see each other?" Or something more subtle, like mentioning she misses you or saying she'd love to do something together. This means you haven't just regained her interest, you've created a genuine desire for your presence. Now, she's not just responding out of politeness, she actually wants to be around you. At this point, most men make a huge mistake. They relax and think they've won her over forever. But the truth is, attraction needs to be maintained. If you go back to your old habits, become predictable, or start chasing again, all the progress you made can fall apart. So, the real question is, how do you keep that attraction alive so she continues to see you as someone special? There's a key secret that makes a woman emotionally invested in you, and understanding it can change your love life forever. Now that you understand what makes a woman lose interest, and more importantly, how to reverse it, let me tell you a secret. What we've covered here is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a hidden detail in the female mind that can completely change how a woman sees you. A powerful psychological trigger that creates such a strong emotional connection that even she won't be able to explain why she feels so attracted to you. And the best part? When you activate this trigger, she won't just stop ignoring you, she'll feel an irresistible urge to be with you. This has nothing to do with mind games or cheap tricks. It's something much deeper. Have you ever noticed how some women become completely obsessed with certain guys, even when those guys don't seem to be making any effort? That's not luck. Those men, whether they realize it or not, trigger a natural instinct in women, a desire to win them over, prove their worth, and hold on to their attention at any cost. If you know how to activate this trigger the right way, she'll start thinking about you all the time. And the best part? She'll believe it was her choice. Now, if you want to understand exactly how this works and how to unlock this secret key in any woman's mind, I have something special for you. In the pinned comment below, there's a video that reveals all the details of this method. Imagine having access to such powerful knowledge that she won't even be able to explain why she feels such intense attraction toward you. If you're ready to take the next step and truly elevate your love life, don't miss this opportunity. And before you go, do this. If this content helped you, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss future tips. I'm always bringing you content that helps you understand the female mind better and become the kind of man that women truly value. Oh, and don't forget to hit the like button. It motivates me to keep bringing content like this and helps this message reach more people who need to hear it. Now, click the link below and discover the secret that can change everything for you.